recognize the gentleman from Virginia, Mr. Griffith, for 5.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would point out several times folks have said that obviously folks want to build, or power companies want to build gas power plants, which is certainly true because of the cost of natural gas. But I also think, and Mr. Campbell, I'm going to direct this question towards you, I also think that power companies would be looking more at coal if they thought they could build something that would be effective, because the price, most recent that I have is September, was $3.62 per 1,000 cubic feet for natural gas, and experts have previously testified in front of this committee at $4, you're at a position where you're breaking even on the production of the energy between coal and natural gas. And a couple times this year we've actually gotten up to that $4 level, and that people project over the next few years that we probably will break that $4 level on natural gas. And isn't it true that most electric power companies like to have a diversity so that if natural gas prices spike, they can rely on coal, and if coal prices spike, they can rely on natural gas and also look to other resources? Is that not true? Is my understanding correct? That's absolutely correct. And in fact, our strategy in Kentucky and East Kentucky is to diversify our portfolio naturally. We'll probably go to a little bit more natural gas because we realize there's regulatory risks out there too. But we think a healthy diversity of fuel is good for all of us. Now, your headquarters is a little bit outside of my district, but I do touch eastern Kentucky, down on the southwestern end of my district, and I also represent a lot of folks who are struggling to make ends meet. And you believe that these new regulations, if we don't pass the Whitman Manchin bill, will cause the electric prices to go up for those people, don't you? I do believe that they will naturally make costs for those people to go up. I believe the new source performance standards with low natural gas, if you assume that, we'll go to gas, and that'll probably keep the rates steady. But if you look into the future and we all have a mad dash to gas because we're not going to clean our coal plants up with CCS, carbon capture and sequestration, that's going to drive costs up. And the programs, in my area at least, if we get a cold winter, the programs that help people heat their homes who can't afford it, they don't last all winter. Is that true in your area as well? We do. They run out of funding, and churches help, and some people just have to live with less electricity. And what they do is they end up crowding into one room, several people, or if it's an elderly person living alone, they just heat one room. Isn't that what they do in your area as well? Yes, sir. And that's a shame, isn't it? Yes, sir. And policies from the federal government really ought not do that to people, where they make these choices. Isn't that correct? Yes, sir. And you've seen studies that also would show that affects their health, doesn't it? It does. In a negative way, not a positive. Yes. Electricity has really increased the life expectancy of the people of the United States. No one can not say that electricity hasn't improved our lives. And affordable electricity makes that even better. That's correct. Dr. Vandervaart, if I might ask you as a regulator and as a lawyer, as a legal matter under Section 111D, the issue in terms of setting carbon dioxide standards of performance is what is achievable at an existing electric generating unit. Isn't that correct?
That is correct.
And I would ask both you and Attorney General Pruitt, as regulators, can you discuss your concerns about the EPA seeking to regulate beyond the scope of its authority in planned regulations of existing electric generating units?
I'd just like to say, if it is in fact passes the legal thresholds I referred to, the issue is that the Clean Air Act only provides authority for a reduction feasible by the Institute of Technology on the emission unit. What I heard earlier today is that a target, which is a euphemistic way of saying a limit, will be set by the federal government. That's my experience as well. If, however, in setting that limit, the EPA includes the entire system, demand-side management, you're going to have a number that's absolutely unachievable at a single unit.
And I understand that. Attorney General?
Congressman, I would say that the EPA may require the states to adopt standards. The EPA may guide the states on how to do that procedurally. But ultimately, the states are vested with the legal authority to decide the ultimate standards. And I think that's what's important as we talk about these 111D discussions we're having.
Well, and I appreciate that very much. In regard to CCS, I would agree with you, Mr. Eisenberg. We may get there someday. We are not there yet. And what we're going to do is we're going to make people in my district and in Mr. Campbell's service area and people all over the United States pay more for electricity, and that's going to negatively impact not only the amount of money in their household, but also, as we've heard today, it's going to affect negatively their health and their viability in the world. And so it's a real shame that some people are opposed to this really good bill that Chairman Whitman has introduced. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
This time I recognize the gentleman from West Virginia.